All right, it's Rick and Brett back for a little bit of a snackable. We're going to flip things up, flip the script a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question today, Mr. Berkey. So looking at all the deals that happen, go from start to finish, close on Paperstac, what would you say is the number one or two reasons that deals fall apart and don't end up closing?
Probably first off, lack of communication between either the buyer or the seller, where either one of the parties was not being fully transparent with everything, or you'll see it on both sides, but that's usually what happens. And then someone drags their feet. And why they drag their feet, I don't know. Maybe, as a buyer, they might be trying to shop it, or, something happens there, or the seller might...
You're trying to broker it?
Trying to broker it, so if they, a lot of times if you're just up front, just say, hey, look, this is the deal, this is what I'm doing, I don't know if that would be better or it'd be just better to not waste your time,
So it sounds like then, if lack of communication, lack of details is the reason that things fall apart and don't close, sort of that kryptonite to that would be transparency.
Transparency. I mean,
just be
you really
transparent.
you don't want to waste people's time. I mean, really just being honest with someone, that's saving you time too. I've seen that before where it's like, the one person got into we had to say, look, you can't do this anymore. They got into 3 transactions, wasting the seller's time. And, we're all trying to predict, for us, especially as Paperstac, trying to predict how many closes are we going to have this month? What are we going to close out at? What's our projected sales? And so when things kind of, well, crap, this is, all things are changed, so that's number one thing. Maybe that. Besides that, usually things run smooth unless something really goes bad, which I have not seen.
I mean, even I would say at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah, there was one.
There was one deal, and it was simply things still got worked out, and they ended up closing.
They closed. It was just he
uncertainty.
He was getting kind of scared, but he was it's
rightfully so. Worldwide pandemic.
We didn't know. Yeah, and I'm assuming everything worked out fine. It was a performing asset, and so it's probably still performing. But that was the only one. That was the only one that was really strange. It would have closed out or backed out for some weird reason. Other times, maybe something like documents haven't been generated. Or something. I've seen that a couple of times where something was missing. Something was signed wrong, and so then the buyer has to realize I'm gonna have to go back and do all this different work. And but usually by the time it gets to the audit stage, 9 times out of 10 it's closing.
Yep.
The auditor looks, hey, this is what it is.
Usually when it gets to closing.
Well, I mean,
there's a couple that fall out, but for the most part, if it hits closing, we're good.
Yeah, that's it. So just open communication, being honest with your co-party, and then you should have a successful transaction on the Paperstac platform.
Yep.